Okay, I think we got the thumbs up given to us that we are live finally. So thank you, Janvi, for setting this thing up. A very, very good afternoon. I think it's Tuesday, Bomik. It is, yeah?
It is Tuesday.
So as you know, I've already given you a clue. Bomik Patel, a colleague of mine, another migration agent, Dharminder Singh, also a migration agent, coming live today on a glorious, glorious afternoon, thank God, before the rain comes, from Aussizz Group. And we have a very hot topic, a topic that Bomik and I talk about every day, but we thought, what opportune time to share this with you and talk nothing else but the all-important Western Australian state nomination. What is it? How is it? 190, 491. For those of you who've been watching a lot of the presentations that I've been doing, a lot of the times when we talk about a partner visa or anything else, suddenly we have a lot of questions asking us, state nomination, state nomination. Guess what? This is your moment. If you do not have any other questions about state nomination, we'll be very disappointed. So today's platform, Bomik and I are going to have very interactive, although he's letting me finishing what I'm going to be saying. So feel free to ask any questions that you have. But before you do, we have a lot of information that we want to share with you that we've researched, we've known intimately exactly how and what the Western Australian state nomination is all about, as well as we're going to share some tips on where we think the exact direction the very wonderful state nomination is actually taking us. So very interactive. We will have a lot of questions. I'm sure you guys will be posting at the same time. So within 15-20 minutes, we will see the nature of the questions we will be asking later, but we have some very specific information to share with you. That's a quick introduction. Bomik doesn't need any introduction, but for those of you who do, we will be sharing that information with you at the same time. So without further ado, we thought we would share with a little bit of history of state nomination.
Very true. Yeah. Thank you, Dharminder Paji, for giving a lovely introduction about today's Facebook Live. Well, guys, we have been having this request from a lot of clients that, well, what is happening with W state nomination and what is the prediction, what you guys have, and what are the data you guys can share with us so that, we all can be prepared for the future invitation rounds and we can work accordingly to raise our points and, further other requirements and whatnot. Well, see, guys, I want to be very honest to you guys that in this financial year, the next round, which is happening in June, which is going to be the last invitation round for this financial year. So guess what?
The drum roll.
Exactly. So right after this June financial year invitation round, the whole quota for the new financial year will be introduced. And the new invitation round will kick in from July onward. Now, as we all know that the WA state nomination migration plan has been granted a new quota for the new financial year as well. So technically speaking, whatever we had, on top of it, we got the new one. So according to our own research and the analysis, what we have about the number, we personally think that
we're not going to give the number though. We're not going to tell them.
No.
We're not going to tell them.
But we personally think that the invitation round will be very popular, and pretty much whoever is qualified for the state nomination criteria, whoever has placed their EOIs in a queue, possible that you will be invited. What you need to do is you need to be patient. And you need to understand that what is your occupation and what has been trend for such occupation. And then you got to make a wise decision. So, well, Paji,
we will talk about the trend.
Exactly.
We will talk about the trend because as you can tell from what he just said, it is the last round. I'm sure some of you are going to be saying, when exactly in June? Hey, could be 5th, 6th, 7th, 10th, whatever. But it is definitely the last round. But what is more important is, if you've missed out in this financial year, hey, don't despair. There is still the next one that's going to come up in July, like we mentioned. Now, we're also going to talk about whether you're a trade occupation, whether you're a professional, and most importantly, we're not going to lose track of the key things that we're going to highlight is if you are in any position that you still want an invitation. We're not talking about 491 or 190, an invitation as such. And if you are not in any position because you put in your EOI, you're waiting, your visa is running out, whatever options, we're going to talk about that as well, right? That's point number one. Point number two is now, whether you get 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, let's wait and watch. But we feel, I think like Bobby was just giving a little bit of a clue to the sense that we feel with the last 2 years, the terrible pandemic and whatnot, and last August, McGovern and company was asking for 5,000, whether he gets it or not is aside from the point, but you are destined to get at least 3,000 and above, which is not bad considering what last year we had 1,400.
Yes, for a 190 it was below 1,400, and for 491 it was below 1,200. So that's exactly. But I just would like to clarify a little bit here that WA state, whatever the quota they had, they've already been top up by the federal government for some more quota to finish this financial year. Now, considering the circumstances, imagine we are in the end of the financial, which is almost like we are almost in close to June. So that will be the last invitation round, and from July onward it will be brand new invitation rounds and brand new quota will be used to invite more people. So the number of invitation will be higher and the chances to be invited are going to be higher. So for such occupation, I would like to discuss a little bit here that the trend, what we have noticed over the period of time for, let's say, trade occupation. So in last 11 months, in all those invitation rounds, what we have noticed is that those who are having a trade occupation and expecting 190 invitation to happen, well, my friend, not a bad choice. However, I would like to inform you that the invitation round are happening with the very high points for the vocational level occupations. So,
and I think you pull out interesting statistics.
Yes, I do.
How many times did the invitation round happen?
Exactly. So altogether in last 11 months, what we have noticed is that there are only 3 invitation round where the advanced diploma level qualification and the trade occupation both combined have been invited with 65 to 75 points. So considering the circumstances, among all the other invitation round, the points were as high as 85 or 90 for a 190 visa. So all those occupations, I would really encourage you guys to understand the invitation round and the facts and then make up a decision accordingly. Don't only stuck that, okay, well, I'll only go for 190 and I do not want to have 491. Well, I cannot make a judgment here for you guys, but I really want to put it forward here that you guys have to understand the trend before you make up any decision. That, well, because there are a lot of clients who are with us now, and we've noticed that they did not approach for a 491 EOI, and then they just waited for 190 to happen with the trade qualification, such as chef and some other related occupation. Well, none of them were invited, and they were all frustrated, and their visas were running out. So then they asked that, okay, well, sir, what am I supposed to do? What do you suggest? Shall I go to another state? Shall I, explore another opportunity? This and that. Well, we said, like, no, you do not have to panic here. You did not explore the 491. 491 is also as good as 190.
Right.
So considering the circumstances, moving to another state is not a good idea, right? So have a 491 and be secure. And guess what? The last invitation round results are speaking on its own. So every single candidate who applied 491 visa, I think they all were pretty much invited. So this is what it is, guys. I mean, you guys have to, closely monitor this invitation round outcome and then make a decision.
So in other words, they should closely monitor us as well.
Very true.
In a way, right? Because among other things, when you mentioned that, what about the percentage of people who were in the graduate occupation list and the general list? Did that also make a difference? That factors in a lot of times.
So much.
That's what people didn't come to understand. Oh, gee, how many people actually did get invited from that? Shall we share that?
So I think, I think this is a very interesting question, and I'm very sure you are all aware of it, that the state migration plan is divided in 2 parts. One is for the higher education, and the other one is for the vocational. So the higher education quota is having about 75% of the seats, whereas the vocational is having about 25% of the seats. And the numbers are not wrong, definitely not wrong. So what we have observed and got out of the information from the state government website is that the higher education invitation for WA state nomination 190 program under a graduate occupation list is having about 1,598 invitation. So technically 1,598 people are invited under a graduate occupation list with higher education, whereas only 325 people are invited with vocational. So guys, you can understand this, right? That definitely state is giving more chances and weight to higher education than the vocational one. So you do not have to, confuse yourself here. The numbers are very clear.
And it's there. It's a fact. Okay. I wanted to share that with them because this information is available.
Yes.
But what we notice in our day-to-day stuff is whenever anyone walks through our doors, the previous clients or new clients or whatever, there's this anxiety. There's this fear that, oh my God, firstly, my visa, whatever I have is going to run up. And they have this fixation that 190 and 190 only. That's what we want to try to tell them today.
Yes.
Hang on. 190 is good. Who doesn't know, who doesn't like 190? We all understand that. But we're talking about what is already passed for the last 11 months, which we got no control over. One other month left, we got no control over. Whatever quota we have, done, finished, dusted, finito. What is coming next is what we want to try to get the audience who are listening from wherever you are. Thank you, firstly. And sort of just recalibrate within your mind to say, right, can you firstly extend some time frame that you have? Because what is coming is what we really want to talk about. We're really passionate about this because there's no point in us giving you some numbers and then you go, oh yeah, this and that. Essentially, if you are a graduate from here, yes, fine. I know all of these clients of ours who are the carpenters and the motor mechanics, you're long suffering. You're wondering, should I go, should I not? And we've all told you guys religiously, just stick around, don't go anywhere else because that's what you are in a position right now. So the 408, want to talk about very quickly about the 408 or student visa option, just to extend the options?
So, well, I would also like to, raise a concern here that a lot of clients, they are eligible for either 190 or 491 visa, either in a graduate list or a general list. Well, maybe individual have a different circumstances and some clients, their visas are expiring and they're still waiting for the invitation to happen. Well, see guys, I personally believe that there are plenty of options to buy some more time, such as this 408 visa. Pretty much everybody is aware of these things, and the 408 visa is available for people who are in such situation, and the visa is going to be around till December this year. So, well, you all are aware of it, that the buying a time is not a problem here, right? The only thing I would concern here that you guys have to understand the state migration plan properly. If you have to secure a job, do it. If you have to start somewhere from the bottom, do it. Let's say, for example, those who are saying that, okay, well, I've done my master's of accounting and I've got about 85 points. My invitation is in a queue. I mean, I haven't got my invitation yet.
Oh, but still they get invited.
Exactly, yeah. And then they said that, well, I don't have a job.
Exactly.
Well, my friend, see, you need to understand that right after completing your master's of accounting, nobody will hire you straight away as an accountant, right? So what my personal opinion is that you guys have to understand that you have to start from the bottom. So you start from bookkeeping and become assistant accountant, and gradually you will end up having accounting job. And having a graduate accountant job and $55,000 is all you need to secure your state nomination. So start doing it on the right direction instead of chasing straight accounting job and then knocked out in the interview.
Which is funny enough, sorry, but a lot of people think they need the big six company, they need to get a big, unbelievable job package. It's not even that.
Definitely not.
What is your title? Graduate accountant.
That's exactly.
Just come out of that.
Yeah, this is another thing I would like to bring it to you guys that, well, see, let's say, for example, you are having a skill assessment in either a management accountant or taxation accountant or or general accountant, and you have already placed your UI in a queue. Well, you're invited in any of them. Let's say, for example, you are invited in taxation accountant, and your job is having a position title as a graduate accountant, and the duties are very much generic to accounting. Then, guys, do not panic. This is completely fine. This is 100% acceptable from the department. Department is saying that either you have a job offer letter in your own field or in a closely related field. Now, what is closely related? So closely related is something that is having the occupation in the same group, where exactly these three occupations fall in, which is management, general, and the taxation.
Exactly. At the same time.
Exactly.
Well.
So this is spot on, and you should not be confused about it. You can definitely secure. Yes.
And you can see we are both very excited. We're very passionate. And if you are very, very unsure about closely related, you come down. We are closely related to you already. All this while, if we've taken you from a student visa to a graduate visa to now finally at the doorsteps of your 190 or 491 or whatever that might be, and just because you're not sure of that, I mean, look, you've got friends and the Google and whatnot, but come to us, literally come down, talk, find out, and then understand a little bit more of what we've just spoken about, because the last thing you want to do is finally get the all-important invitation. God forbid it's a 190, and then you're like, oh my God, I have 28 days. And you're running around like a headless chicken, finding how am I going to get the job offer letter within such a short period of time. So what Bomik and we do with everybody else that comes through down here is that we say, hey, listen, why don't you just start somewhere? I mean, it could be, I don't know, accounts receivable, you're doing accounts clerk, something. But if somebody has realized that, oh, this person is who and who, what do you think the chances are? You will be in a better position to market to that one employer to say, wait, I've got this, man, I really need that. Somebody knows you. Somebody's going to give you that chance. And that's when and what opens the doors.
That's exactly, I mean, perform with your best ability within the probation period, and you'll be able to secure your possible job within the related field. Because I'm just not making it up here, guys. I really want to be very honest to you that we have got plenty of clients and they have followed the exact direction what I just said.
And they laugh
and
very nicely.
Trust me, I mean, I'm really not joking here. I'm really surprised that they've done exactly the same thing what I said. They started from the very bottom and they end up securing the job. And they do not have to run around.
And so when you do get invited, what to do, duties, responsibilities, what is
we are here to guide you.
That's our business. And we'll let you know at the same time.
Yeah.
But aside from accounting, which we spent some time talking about, which is really, really good because those are the long-suffering group of people, right? The chefs, you know that. You don't need to do all this, job offer letter and all that because you meet the requirements of 6 months and all of that.
For the graduate occupation list, yes. Exactly. None of you guys have to struggle. But for general occupation list, yes, you all need to secure a job offer.
Okay. So you want to talk about the general list at the same time? Because remember, a lot of people have this confusion that, I'm sitting somewhere else, but I'm not in WA. How come I'm not getting invited? It's a little simple misconception, which is on the website, but they don't really, but you know what it is. We're not going to comment on that. But let's talk about that. And I think that's very important. You and I have such clients, which when you look at them, we're like, the reason why you're not invited is because of that. So I think that's an important thing.
So I think, first of all, I would say that, WA state has the best migration plan across all of the state. I must say that because they don't have such prerequisite that, if you do not have such or many months of experience, then you cannot apply this and that. Pretty much, every state is just talking about the same thing. Whereas WA is saying that, okay, well, as long as you are in WA, as long as you have a skill assessment, as long as you're meeting the points requirement, then you can apply for an UI. When you're invited, then only you need a job offer letter. Well, guys, see, this is very simple. All those people living in another state, let's say, for example, New South Wales, Tasmania, or any other state like Victoria. Well, see, if you are having your occupation in WA state nomination list for the general occupation list, well, I would say that there are plenty of jobs here in WA. For I think all the trade occupation, I mean,
they got no idea
exactly
they actually come down.
So to secure your state nomination under either 190 or 491, the only thing you got to do is relocate in WA. You cannot go wrong, guys. Trust me, you cannot go wrong.
By the way, we are not mini ambassadors of the Western Australian State nomination team. We live in WA. Obviously, we're going to talk about nice things about WA, but because we believe in the the plan and the program, and we've seen the numbers, and we can tell you this for a fact. When they introduced this last August,
so let's say, for example, the number what I have from the last invitation round, which is not produced by me or Paji, but it's been available in the state government website. If you go there, you can also find it. So the last invitation round, they've only invited the people who are having EOI for a 491 visa. That's simple, right? So they literally did not invite anybody for a 190 other than one candidate. Anyway, that lucky one is someone we'll talk about some other time. But yes, the occupation, let's say, for example, one of the most popular occupation in Eastern State is a motor mechanic. Well, there are motor mechanic left, right, center in Melbourne and Sydney, and they're expecting that, okay, well, if something could happen in Melbourne or in New South Wales, and they will get invitation for either 190 or a 491. Well, guys, see, if it is happening, good. If it doesn't happen, then I think WA can give you this, because last invitation round, accordingly, it says that 80 points altogether for a 491 visa.
That's
guys,
not bad though.
Only 80 points on your own. So here it is, 80 points are divided with 65 points on your own and 15 from the state.
But the thing about moving back here, this is the part where you talk.
That's exactly what I'm interested in as well. No, that's all good. So that's exactly what I'm explaining here, guys. That imagine 65 points on your own and 15 from the state, making 80 points and securing your 491, which you have been dreaming about from last several months in another states. So considering the circumstances, WA is a choice. Trust me, guys.
And that's also going to trigger their EOI, because they are now residing in Western Australia.
Yes.
That's where preference,
yes.
Preference is given. We're talking about preference is given when they realize that you are residing here in the beautiful sunny Western Australia, fish and chips in Fremantle, and then all the wonderful beers from Little Creatures. Now, Little Creatures is not paying us for this, by the way, but yeah, just to say.
Yeah, but let me just give you an example. Let's say, for example, somebody who is having occupation in a general occupation list and currently residing in Western Australia and having 80 points for a 491 or a 190, for example. Okay. And the other person who is having the same occupation under a general occupation list and currently residing in another state.
Who do you think they're going to pick, right? Exactly.
And the person who is residing in another state is having the high points than the person who is residing in WA. Guys, guess who is going to be invited first?
Can I guess, please? Can I guess?
Sure, why not?
Obviously, it's a no-brainer, right? You know who gets picked, right?
So this is very important, guys, to understand that this is how the state nomination program work. And obviously, if you are in the state, then only you can look for the job opportunity, because that is very much needed for state nomination and to accept your state nomination invitation. So yeah,
I think it's a fair call. I think we've been talking, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. We get very lost in this when we get carried away, which is what we're doing. What exactly do you think now is perfect time to maybe really address this audience that who've sort of listened to us this far, is to say, believe, not just blindly believe in what we are kind of trying to say to you to an extent, have a plan in place, extending your visa, any other options, whatnot. And if you are also, if I may, you can correct me here, Bombing, that if you're in a position to increase your points, if you need to do NATI, you need to do, a partner's going to get an English or any other funny ways that not funny, but you know what I'm trying to say, something that can increase your chances, do so perfectly, because points, higher you are in the ranking, you're going to get invited.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes. That is also there. I mean,
but what challenges are real? People who are not in WA don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So what do I do? Well, moving here, big step. Yeah. Big step to pack up everything and just come down here.
But I think it's not that big, because obviously, I mean, you guys are, let's say if you are waiting for your PR to happen, or if you're waiting for your skill visa to be done, well, then I'm very sure you guys have done enough research about your further migration options. And what we are discussing is one of them. And what we think is that this is one of the best one. That's what we think. So according to our own statistics and the data what we have on W State Nomination website, this is what we can see, that securing your invitation from W State is much better and much easier compared to another states. That's what we feel.
And we never rehearse this, by the way. Okay, this is on the floor. We only have statistics in front of us. For those who know us, captive audience, these numbers are just coming out of us because we live, breathe Western Australia.
Yeah.
We've been here for a long time. But what we want to share with you something is this. When we talk about the bumper invitations and the numbers and whatnot, we feel that in the last 2 years or so, a lot's been happening in the industry as such in Western Australia. Now, a lot of you think, well, hang on, where am I going with this? If you join the dots of where and how the economy is going to pick up after the elections, things are going to happen, regardless of who comes in, we are on the slight, up and up in terms of economy picking itself up. Now, Western Australia, we keep talking about Western Australia, have also introduced DARMA.
Yes.
Now, DARMA is a designated area migration agreement where previously was only in Kalgoorlie. Now it's opening up in Pilbara, it's opening up down south. So that's all telltale signs, as far as we are concerned, that we are in for some interesting ride, for good times.
Yeah.
Which is why we really want to implore you, to tell you, hey, listen, make changes, find out, ask questions, call, do. Don't just sit there and say, oh, yeah, I had the time and I didn't do it. And then the opportunity just goes further and further away. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's an important thing.
And I think, yes. So what he's trying to say is basically what I understood is that the government is in support to pump up the migration plan at the same time, because they all are aware of it, that the requirement of people is just, we
need people
there. I mean, we need people left, right, center. I mean, any other scope of work you see, there are jobs, whether it is IT, engineering, or any other trade. So what I personally see here, that having invitation from the state is going to be the list of your problem. Securing your job in your own field is going to be the challenge for you guys. So
make the move.
I must say that, let's say, for example, all those people who are coming from the higher education. So I've already talked enough about the trade. Now let me just put it here for the higher education, that all those engineers, those IT graduates and accountants and all, I must say, guys, that if you have studied in Western Australia, if you are chasing the graduate occupation list and chasing your 190 visa, then having 75 points or more than 75 points is good enough. Trust me.
It's a no-brainer.
Yes, definitely not. But the only part I must tell you guys is that have a job. Start somewhere. If you have a job in IT support, start somewhere. That will help you to get into the game.
And that doesn't mean
that
doesn't mean you just hang around in Perth CBD.
No.
Western Australia.
Exactly.
The entire state.
Yeah.
Goodness me. Go travel, find out, go and you'll be very, very surprised.
There are jobs, yes, very much. There are jobs across. So if the job is in Port Hedland, Karatha, Pilbara region, or Southwest or Kalgoorlie, whatever, I mean, doesn't have to be only in Perth, right?
Oh, no. It's got to be in Hemingway, it's got to be in Osborne Park or whatever, but make a move. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. We have seen our clients who are invited maybe 3, 4, 5 times for 190 visa. They could not secure it. Tragedy. The only reason is because they did not have a job. Guys, I mean, I understand that this is not that easy. I'm really not. I'm definitely, yes, I'm not saying that you will definitely get a job as a mechanical engineer straight away from the day one. That's exactly what I'm trying to say here, is that you need to start somewhere. Because see, most people, it's a very common thing. Most people, let's say, for example, somebody who's just graduated from Murdoch University or any other university in Western Australia, got IT engineering or mechanical engineer or civil engineer, got skill assessment from Engineers Australia under the accredited pathway, or however, got enough points, applied for an EY. Currently, his 485 visa is under process. He's still waiting for his invitation to happen. At the same time, he's waiting for his 485 to be happen. Well, see, he got plenty of time on his hand. Let's say his 485 visa hasn't been approved yet, and he's invited from the WA state to apply for his state nomination. Guess what, guys?
Brilliant.
He does not have a job. And he's struggling.
You mentioned mechanical engineers bombing. Exactly. This is very interesting. So we've got common clients at the same time who come in, and then this is a real thing. It's very hard to go up there and suddenly secure a mechanical engineer's job. It is hard, evidently.
Yes.
But imagine if you started working as a fitter, mechanical related, but you start working 1-2 months and the guy looks at you and says, hey, This guy's all right.
gradually.
He's just going to pick up. And it has happened with numerous people who've taken the leap of faith, who've gone out of their comfort zone. And then, believe me, it will happen. It has to happen. And it has.
Yes.
Okay. So what we're trying to say to you is that in a roundabout way, I know we're going on a little bit about, oh, get a job. It's sounding a little bit like, oh, hang on, it's easier for you to say. You guys are sitting there in suits telling us this thing live on air. But at the end of the day, you don't want to be in a situation you've been invited once, twice, 3 times. By the way, the state nomination will keep inviting you without fail. Well, what are you doing then? Whose time are you really wasting down here? So that's no fun though, right? So make concrete plans, because it'll be such a shame that now with the borders open, with the relaxation of a couple of things, this and that, be in a position to strike. Get your whatever weaponry loaded, focus to whatever you need to do, release whenever you want to. What are the stuff we want to talk about? Because this is beginning to sound like we are your, career advisors and coach and all that, which we are, by the way. But what else do we want to do? We want to share with them just before we go. Look across the room. Any questions coming through? Any particular ones you want to share? Should we take a little bit of a break and answer some questions?
Yeah, why not?
Perhaps,
yeah. If there are live questions, then we are more than happy to help you guys. Let's just bring
so we have our colleague across the room, which you can't see because she has really helped set this thing up. Janvi, any questions you want to read for us?
Yes, we do have a couple of questions. We have one from Karmir, who says that, can you please tell regarding painting for 190 visa?
Painting, okay, because he's obviously from Eastern States.
Yeah.
So he's on the general list. Moment, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Well, see, Karan,
thank you for the question, by the way.
Yeah, well, I appreciate your effort and putting a comment forward. So, well, see, my friend, if you are residing in Western Australia and having a good number of points, as I mentioned earlier, that most invitation round for the skill visa 190 with the trade occupations have happened, and the points were somewhere around 85 or more. So if you think that you have that point, and if you are happy to relocate in Western Australia and securing a job, then yes, you have a premium chances. If it is not the case, then well, I'm sorry, but you can still rely on a 491 as well.
Yeah. So in other words, come down, have a plan, paint Western Australian red. I think he gets a picture. Yeah. Go on. What's the next one?
So the next one is from Karthik, who said that I submitted UI in July last year in WA mechanical engineer, 80 plus 5 points. So experience and have been living in NSW since July 2017. Should I stay here or leave the state and get to WA? Right now on bridging visa for temporary activity visa.
If you have been listening to what we've been saying,
Karthik,
move.
Yes, Karthik, this is spot on, my friend. This is spot on. So you have already observed this, right? I can tell you that I've got the data here, which is right in the front of me, which is downloaded from the state government website. That
we verify this.
Invitation,
it's real.
Last invitation for a mechanical engineer has happened in Western Australia.
85 points.
85 points, my friend, 85 points. So,
and the EOI was submitted in 27th
of April.
Yeah.
So you can understand that you are literally missing the shot.
Yeah.
If you can relocate here and look for a job here, I think this is the best solution you have.
Yeah, mechanical engineers are in demand because you are in an oil and gas industry state.
Yes,
the things are going to be pumping up from God knows where. So until you actually make a move, you're really never going to really realize, oh, gee, I didn't realize that. So this is what we're talking about.
So I think, Karthik, you should not think twice. You should relocate it in WA as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you, Karthik. Yep. Next question.
And now we have next question from Vijay, who says, what is the chance for geotechnical engineer with 75 points for 190?
All right. Okay. So, well, see, according to my current data, as I said, that the state government has only invited for a 491 visa, and none of the person is invited for a 190. And geotechnical engineer is one of them who is invited for a 491 visa with 85 points. Now, this is the answer for you. 85 points altogether. So technically the client has 70 and 15 from the state,
Mhm.
and then invited for 491 visa with geotechnical engineering qualification and the skill assessment. So in your case, I would say that if you have time, you need to wait for a little while. And from July onward, as soon as the new quota hit,
Mhm.
I think the invitation number and the divided area, which is 190 and 491, will be having equal opportunity, and hence you possibly have a good chance.
And just on that, his occupation is literally what WA does. They need people like them, the geologists and geotechnical stuff and all that, to really be in those kind of industries. I mean, it's a fact. So if you don't, and it might just open up another door for you altogether, so come down because you need that eventually, but come down more so to create and increase your chances of actually being invited.
Very much, yes.
Right. So the next question is a bit broad. We have Kajal Seth, who asks accountants, what is going to be?
What is going to be for accountants? Okay, so
I think you
what is going to be for accountants? I think if you've realized that we're talking about accountants who were one of the very sad people who were subjected to, or suddenly they were not on the list anymore, and then they freaked out, and then suddenly they were replaced by finance manager, and then they were all worried because of all of those things. So I still think all those things that we've said to you thus far is still the same thing. You are in a position, if you are a graduate from here, no problems being invited at 75, 70, 80 points.
Yes.
Without any problems.
Yeah.
You will be invited.
Yeah.
Hands up for 190 on top of that.
Yes.
But if you're in general occupation and you're worried, this and that,
And yes,
then you just wait for the 491.
Yeah.
Wait for the quota. We are only about, probably 55 days away
From
effectively from
new
now. I
financial
don't know who's
year to
counting,
begin.
but about that, right?
Yes.
But that's what you can do. So if you have enough oxygen in your tank to wait for a while, then just wait. But if not, then if you think, hey, you know what, I'm going to make that executive decision to move.
Yeah.
Seriously move. You will be invited. So I wouldn't start thinking about they are not going to be on the list anymore or whatnot. This country can't count. They need people like you. So come on down.
Exactly.
Jitinder, who mentioned that he's happy with his 491.
He's happy with his 491.
Yeah.
I think
And
that
we're
is
happy for him too.
exactly. There is
Yeah.
nothing wrong in it. There
There
is literally nothing wrong in it.
Think
I
about
think,
if there was no 190 more.
Exactly.
What would you do? You go for a 491, right?
Yeah, I mean,
These are the same people who are walking over the way 491.
and there are plenty of people who relocated in state called Tasmania, for example, or Northern Territory or regional area of New South Wales, and they just relocated there in hope that they could secure a 491. Well, if it would have happened, good. If it didn't happen, then I think you guys have to consider that WA is the destination for a 491.
Then I want to piggyback on what we just said this year. A year and a half, 2 ago, a lot of people did this little mini exodus from WA because they didn't believe enough or whatever the case was. And I don't blame them. They went to all those places, Tasmania, Northern Territory,
Yes.
South Australia. And then they're still sitting there. The very same people, whoever you are, made the transition back again with a tail between their legs, wondering, oh yeah, because that didn't happen. So they come back with the belief of the same stuff. And oh my God.
I mean, let me just explain you in a very simple fact that in last invitation round, last one, which is literally, few days back.
May the 6th, to be precise.
Yeah, the stat says that the person who applied his EOI for a 491 with the management accountant is invited with the 65 points. Guys, can you believe that? 65 points. A management accountant is invited with the 491. So imagine what point the client would have altogether. Client would only have 50 points on his own and then 15 from the state. And that's how he made 65 points. And he's invited. I mean, what else would you look for? What else would you look for? The only thing, as he said, that you need to have enough time to hang there. And if you can have that, then I think you can easily secure both ways. You can also secure the state nomination as well as your job in WA.
Cool.
Because the opportunities are endless.
We're kicking. We love the questions. Bring it on.
I think the next one we have is on the same grounds. So we have a question from Bhavan who says, what are the chances to get an invitation in June 2022 round? EY submitted in April with 80 points. 491, including state points. Currently working and living in regional WA, far from Perth. Working in local Shire as occupational health and safety advisor.
Yeah.
Better says demand 1 year experience.
Yeah.
Can I claim work experience if studied and working in the same field?
Can I just say first, before we answer that question, that is exactly what we've been talking about for people who have taken the opportunity to go as far away in any shire, try to find an opportunity, work for 1 year, although this happened to be in org health and safety and whatnot. But there are numerous of this kind of positions that you can take and do exactly what this person has done.
Yeah.
That is exactly what we're talking about. When we hear this kind of stuff, we're very excited. We'll answer your question,
Yeah. Well, see, I mean,
Chances
as
are
long
good.
as
Yeah.
as long as I understand
Yeah.
your question, you are directly asking me that, do you have a chance to be invited in the next
June
round,
month,
which
yeah.
is June?
Yeah.
Well, see, my friend, this is exactly what I've been explaining to you, that you need a little bit of a patience. Okay. So last invitation round, yes, occupation therapists are invited.
No, occupational health and
Yeah.
org health and safety. Yeah.
Yeah, they are invited, and they are only invited for a 491 visa, and the number were somewhere around 100. Okay, so the cutoff were somewhere around 100. Well, I'm not saying that this is going to remain there, because this is the end of the financial year. This is the very last portion of the quota, and
Maybe
they are just releasing.
Maybe they're picking up the
Yeah,
cream.
they are just
picking the cream.
releasing
Yeah.
limited seats for such occupation. So do not panic at all. In my opinion, if you have one more quarter to wait, you will be done. One more quarter.
So can he claim work experience if studied and working in the same field?
If he has worked 1 year.
So if the experience is a post qualification, then
yeah,
yes.
Then yes. Yeah.
Next we have Chamat, who says, what's the difference with 190 and 491?
What's the difference? Firstly, the numbers are different. One is a permanent visa, which is the 190, and the other one is a provisional temporary visa. Now we can go into details, but just understand this very quickly. Okay, if you get invited for 491, you will be there for 3 years. You work, live in any regional area besides Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, make about $54,000 a year, and then you prove consecutively that you've done that. You move to a PR scenario, which is a 191. 2 years later, 5 years altogether, give and take your waiting time for bridging visa, you get a PR in that manner. But you get Medicare.
But it's a very sure shot, very
Guaranteed.
sure shot. I mean, you cannot go wrong unless you don't want to take it.
Some people ask you as well, the same thing, oh, if I'm already second year into my 491, can they cancel my visa? No, they won't. That will just carry on. They cannot happen. They might make some transitions, but don't think, oh my God, 5 years, what's going to happen? Will they take that away because it's temporary? No, it's not going to happen. We get questions like that.
No, this is in a legislation. I mean, if you are a holder of visa and any other changes can come into effect or take a place after your visa grant, then you are not affected. Department has never done such things in the history that the people who are holding a visa, they are affected with the changes.
They create transitions.
Never, ever. There is always
a
a transitional arrangement. And as far as I'm concerned, this is the beginning of a 491. So this is not going anywhere.
Absolutely.
This is going to be there for a long. Definitely, yes.
So just understand that they're both sponsored by the state. One is a temporary, one is a permanent. Okay, that's all. So the obligations is that you need to be living in that state and whatnot, but that case by case basis, you can move around and whatnot. So we'll get too technical, but just understand.
I think if you could leave your if you could drop an email to one of our email address, we'll just give you more detail on this 190 and 491 difference. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. We're still getting a lot of questions.
Yeah, we have plenty.
Brilliant. Yeah, go ahead.
Next, we have a question from Pratik, who says, how long is WA 190 to grant nomination post pre-invite?
Yeah, well, see, to answer your question, let's say, for example, you are invited from the W state nomination to apply for your state nomination, and you have got all the documents and you're meeting all the requirements. And then as soon as we apply for your state nomination, the requirement, the processing time is about 12 weeks. However, if you are having any circumstances where your visas are expiring and you are expecting the state government to expedite your state nomination application. And if you have a genuine reason, then yes, that is also possible. So the normal processing time is 3 months, and the less to less and the fast track what we have seen in our career is 1 day. So we have got state nomination approved from the state, and it's not some like making up a story here, guys. This is very honest that the client visas were expiring and state have helped us to get through. And obviously the application was a decision ready. So there was not a single document which was missing, and hence we got it. So yeah, this is what it is.
See, the thing is, the state nomination, their job is to incentivize the employers within Western Australia.
Yeah.
So you come up with everything that I've got a job, I got these companies, 12 months, everything is tick. To them, they want to just tick, tick, tick. If everything is good, they want to help you. But if you come and say, oh, I wasn't this and that, I don't have this, what do you think they're going to do? Like, tough basket. Put it in a tough basket. Nobody likes a tough basket.
Yeah.
So come with a decision-ready thing. And if it is not, that's our job to make it decision-ready.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. I mean, even though the situation is not that tricky, we'll still make sure that, every other state nomination application we represent, it goes with every other document that is required from the state. So at least, nobody's have to struggle about the processing time.
Yeah. Cool. Fire away, Janvi. Today you're going to read a lot of questions. Go on.
I know.
Yeah.
So the next question is from Apriyani, who says, is there some new rule about skill assessment?
Oh, well, see, which skill assessment and what occupation?
Are you talking about being a crocodile hunter? There's a new skills assessment for crocodile hunters. Which one are we talking about?
That's quite broad. She hasn't mentioned.
Okay. So just to let her know if she's still listening. So there are new updates for different occupations. So if you can specify what is it, what not, are you a community worker or are you whatever your job is, then we can perhaps obviously not rattle off at the top of our head, then we can find out a little bit more. If you want to drop a line specifically, then obviously we can give you a little bit more detailed information. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. Moving on, we have Shani who says, aren't the nominations closed for this financial year?
The nominations?
I mean,
what
can
does
you specify? It's more specified, like, isn't it closed for this financial year? I think the invitations is what she
So
means.
we keep saying that there's one more month left.
Yes. So I think let me just clear your doubts that yes, there are a lot of states other than Western Australia who are running out of their quota, and hence they have announced that they are not taking further applications or they are not inviting anybody. But yes, WA doesn't have that problem. Yes, we had that problem in the beginning of this year, but now the quota has been added and there is nothing to worry about. So the next invitation round will definitely happening in June.
So she, for the rest of the audience who are listening to it, at the same time, WA did announce on February that yes, our quota is full, and everybody thought, oh, that's it. And then 2 months later, it goes, surprise, we just found something hidden under the couch. We've got more quota. And that's exactly what she's talking about. Yeah.
So next we have Ravinder who says, Master of Marketing, any suggestions, please?
Master of Marketing. Oh, goodness. Don't we like the marketing people?
All right. See, I'm not making any over exaggerated statement.
I will
here
tell if he is.
For you, but for you, I would say that there are two things you should consider. First of all, you need to consult professional with your whole background study and see if there is another alternative pathway which could happen, because WA State doesn't have a marketing executive or marketing specialist at this point of time. Yes, they have a marketing manager, but that is something we need to have a corporate experience in order to get your skill assessment and to make you eligible for a WA State nomination. So for you, you need to explore another avenues. Other than that, but other than that, there is one small thing which I would definitely like to add for you is that yes, there are some chances that the entire migration program will have a little bit of a review. And if that happen, and if they are, because as you all know that the skill shortage are there in every other field.
And marketing is one of them.
Yeah. So I mean, we are not giving any surety here though. Okay. But yes,
could be.
The occupation used to be there. So if that happen, well, then you can be one of the lucky one.
I hope other marketeers are listening to it at the same time. Okay, go on. All right.
So the next question is there any chance 75 points for grant of 491 as a chef?
Yes,
yeah,
why not?
Absolutely.
Absolutely there.
100%.
So that's exactly what we were talking about, that having a very small amount of quota at the beginning of the financial year, we have observed that state government has invited chef with less point for a 491 and high points for a 190. So
Absolutely.
that's exactly what
Absolutely.
I mean, we have been pushing to our client that if you have an opportunity and if you are having these circumstances, then consider that 491 is a choice.
Yeah.
So the question is still continued. He's working at Kalbari as chef, and is there any advantage when I apply for 190 or 491?
No. Whether you're in Kalbari or you're anywhere else.
So the requirement is to have a job offer letter in Western Australia.
But he's a chef.
It's not about
doesn't even.
For a generalist, yes, you
generalist
need.
You need.
So for a general occupation list, you need a job offer letter, and that job offer letter has to be in Western Australia, but it doesn't say that it has to be from Perth or from Kalbari. Okay, so as long as you have it in WA, it's fine.
Even if it takes you 3 hours flying time, you're in Western Australia, pretty much.
Right.
Scary, isn't it? 3 hours flying time, you're still flying in Western Australia. Oh God, okay, go on.
We have Ankit who says, what about carpentry trade?
What about them? You know, they are the long-suffering people at the same time. We've got heaps of carpenters on our list. And what we keep telling them at the same time is, don't just aim for 190. Those who are lucky enough to get it, they got it. Okay. But if you're still there and if you still haven't, I'm not decided, and if you're on the graduate occupation list, no problems. They have been invited. But it's just that some occupations, unfortunately, we have to tell them, they just are never invited in a particular month. And then everybody thinks, oh, gee, what's going to happen? They just don't. Like some chefs never get invited. Last one, very little. And then people start thinking, oh, what's going to happen? They just work with that. Is something that we cannot comment on.
So this program is basically just to, to inform you all guys that this is the end of the financial year. And as we repeatedly inform you all that calm down. If you don't have time, you can figure out a lot of other ways to find some more time and buy some more time. But yes, stay in the game, be in the game. And yes, you have a very good chances to
don't give up, man.
And for this carpenter with the 75 points for 491, I can tell you one thing, that I have got a client whose visa we are launching it today, and he's apparently a carpenter from a Schedule 2 and 491. He was invited, and we got it approved as well with 75 points only.
And keep faith, seriously.
No, I mean this is very 100%, and this is in-house information. So we are just
we don't make this thing happen.
This is my own client anyway.
Meanwhile, if you're really sad and you're like feeling low and everything like that, I got my hours replaced. I need a cabinet maker. Give me a call. I'm gonna give you a job at the same time. Who knows? I do your visa. No, I'm just kidding. But give me a call. All right, go next.
Ling wants to know if there's any scope for IT technician.
IT technician.
Well, first of all, I mean there are plenty of occupation. So I really have to understand.
So IT technician. So if I get that right, we get this question all the time. If she's working or this person is working as an IT technician, but that's your role. But if you've been assessed as something else, like, in ICT security specialist.
No. So he's talking about a vocational level occupation.
Oh, vocational level. Okay. I thought sometimes we get those.
So I mean, first of all, see, as I said, that these occupations are not very common. Okay. So first of all, I mean, I can be I would like to assure you that I can give you more specific information if you could drop me an email. And then I'll give you more insight of your particular occupation, because as I said that these occupations are not very common. Not everybody does it. So the research what I have currently in front of me and what we have done it, I just have to be honest that you should put your question forward via email.
Well, this is getting serious. This is good stuff, isn't it? This Q&A is ballet all the way. Come on, eat us.
We have Naresh who asks, will 189 get back to normal from next year based quota? If it does offshore or onshore matter?
Well, see, we cannot comment on the onshore and offshore part.
Let alone the 189.
Exactly, because it's not in our control, and how state government wants to operate for offshore is completely not in our hand, so we cannot comment on that. But yes, we must say that 190 has always been one of the most popular visa, and since we've got new quota and that will be renewed from July onward, I mean, it will be better than normal. That's what I would say.
But 189 is federal, so nothing to do with state. Just remember that.
Yeah, but it will be better than normal.
Yeah. Cool.
Derek has a question which says, I'm HR practitioner, though I'm not a manager. How is the chance of getting PR after having 482, which he's soon to apply?
Wow. Okay. The HR people are a funny mob at the same time. So as you know, Derek, if you're in HR, you should know better than anything else. You've advised people within HR how to get into whatever they want to do. So your occupation is, if it's in the short-term list, it's very hard to entertain the idea of a PR. Okay, so you're going to get stuck there. So if you're in a position to move on to a 494 bombing, perhaps?
Well, see,
yes or no? Yeah,
I mean, it is a bit of a long way, but the information what you have provided is not enough to assess your PR options. Definitely not. So again, for you,
HR practitioner, you're not a HR manager as such, or can you become one? You know, HR consultants and all of this.
So as you said that you are, I mean, as he said that he's in the process of going through 482 visa.
He is already, right?
He's in the process to apply one.
Okay.
So you should have a consultation with the same migration consultant who is processing a 482, or you could consider one of us and come and talk to us. We'll see if there are any other possibilities we could explore for you.
Yeah. No problems, please.
Next, we have Faizan, who asked, did Master of Software in support job in Melbourne, can I move?
Well, see, I mean, the question is a little bit of tricky here, because are you asking me that you have a job in support and you studied software, or you're talking about that relocating part is better for you or not?
To increase your chances.
Yeah. So 100% honest answer here. That
so let's break it up first. So if you stay in Melbourne, right?
Yeah.
Your chances are not very good.
Yes. So relocating WA and securing your state nomination invitation is definitely one of the best decisions you could make it. With these points, what you just said about 1995, and on top of it, the experience what we just discussed, that support experience is not good enough. So you need to secure.
It'll be more concrete, right?
Yes. So you need to look for at least a related or closely related job here in WA.
Okay, cool. It's one of those things, because a lot of them people are there. They're like, oh, gee, what do I do? Where do I go? If you get a little bit more information in the questions that you're reading, Janvi, then it helps us to frame that answer a little bit better.
Nothing as of now, but
that's okay.
Maybe we can move on to the next one.
Yeah, obviously.
So we have a question from Naresh again, who says, hi, I got mechanical and production skill assessment, 95 points for 189. I'm on student visa and living in NSW. What are my best possible options?
WA. Do a course change, do something, because it's online, you can do that. Your 189, you can forget about trying to get and hope that on 95 points you're going to get it. We've got clients on 100, 105 points not being invited for a long period of time. So 189, as much as it's good and all that kind of stuff, is fine. This person is on a student visa already, so it's got some lifeline at the same time. So try to find ways that you can either come back here, be actually in a position to sort of study down here, but at the same time, because I mean, what is the occupation? Mechanical engineer, production engineer.
Mechanical and production.
Yeah. Okay. Well, see, my friend, I mean, having this 95 point is not less than an achievement. So I must say that
that's very good.
You have done brilliant job to upgrade your profile and to be in a queue for a 189 visa. Okay. But considering the situations and the trend, what we have seen for a 189, I mean, the federal government was not much keen about having a lot of 189, and hence the state migration plans are pretty much happening. But now, since the COVID is gone and things are getting normal after the election, we hope that it get better and you may have a chance for a 189. But as I said, you should not rely on a 189 all the time. What he just said is that we have a client here who had 100 and 105 points as well, but then we ended up by encouraging them to have a 190, because that 190 is as long as, I mean, it's PR, it's both our permanent residency. So I must say that you also, because according to your explanation, you need to look for a backup. You
100%.
must look for a backup.
So if you are on 95 points, you're a smart fella. Okay. So you are likely to be, positioning, marketing yourself to a potential company down here to firstly give you a job. But because you can't, because you're studying, so that's another status quo. And by the way, if you are invited and if you're a student visa, if you don't know how to get around the situation, talk to us. We'll tell you how you can meet the requirements upon invitation about the job offer and that kind of stuff, which we don't want to go live on air to discuss that. But that's an interesting scenario for students who are on student visa. And then if you get invited, we'll tell you how to get around and accept this invitation too. Sorry, I just remember.
Are there still many questions?
Yeah.
Yes, we do have.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
What are we doing? How are we doing on time? Okay. So maybe
Another
we've
15.
got about, we're going to wrap it up because we're going to get consultations coming through very soon. But we will talk about a few things from the questions that we've already, getting so far. And whilst we're doing that, Janvi, if you can filter through some pertinent ones that maybe we haven't answered in specifics, because if it's a new or new in the sense that it's different from those people saying, hey, I'm on this, what are my chances? You know what I'm saying? Something a little bit different.
Right.
If you can, then you can filter them out. And me and Bobby might want to maybe put some finishing touches on the topic that we're talking about, and kind of recap, because a lot has been shared today, a lot has been said. And these are not something that we just do for the fun of it. We're doing it primarily for people who have invested time, who have invested money, and their dreams and aspirations of actually finally being invited. But more and more, if there is one thing that should come across today, is to tell you that don't just pin your hopes on just a 190 or a 189. Okay, state nomination is exactly that. Be in a position, be your own driving force to actually finally get one invitation. Be in that position. One invitation means that you're already down here, one step is down here. Then what we've already mentioned to you about how you need to be getting into a job scenario, because ultimately invitation relates to a job offer. So if you're not doing all of that, what is the point of sitting in another state and saying, what are my chances? I'm in so-and-so, you got to come down here. You got to invest in that time.
Exactly.
You got to invest in the networking that you're going to get from here at the same time. Nothing else is going to happen from that.
So all those people who are interested, well, the message is already been clear, and we have already explained it to you guys. But yes, my friend, all those my friend who are in Western Australia and have been chasing this graduate occupation list for either professional occupations or the trade occupation, guys, do not worry. You are in a safe hand.
You really are.
You are in a safe hand. You will be surprised when the new financial year start and the new invitation round will happen. You all will have a good situation.
Falling short of Vladimir Putin dropping a bomb down here, which I don't think is going to happen, right? Falling short of some calamity, we're safe, we're sound, we're pretty okay. We're going through a little bit journeys here and there, but I think we can wrap up by just simply saying, we're not wrapping up just yet, but we can conclude at least to say, just hang in there, man. Seriously, hang in there. We haven't talked about those people.
Buying a time is definitely not a problem for any of you guys. I mean, as long as you are in Western Australia and you are struggling with the situation and your visas are expiring, then I must say that you come and talk to one of us or any of our offices across Australia.
How many months has it been since we just opened our borders? People forget.
Exactly.
That. So you got to give it some time to just let it filter through all the other areas to say, right now, because Western Australia is wait a while. It takes time. That's what Western Australia stands for. It doesn't happen just like that. Okay. Let it filter down. People will begin to say, I need this, I need that. This is how Western Australia has always been. So if you have that philosophy, we'll take 3 more questions from Janvi and then we will wrap this thing.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
There is I'm not sure about the person, but
It's okay. Better be a
they
human being.
insist on it that if I get visa from Queensland 491, then is it mandatory to go to Queensland regional area only, or anywhere in Australia is fine?
All right. So to answer your question,
This unknown person.
yeah, unknown person. I mean, what was the name of the client?
Unknown.
It's HISUL.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
there is a
Too
name,
long.
yeah.
But yes, to answer your question, I would like to inform you that 491 visa has been approved by the federal government. Okay.
And
So
by the
state has only nominated you. So you have an obligation to stay in that particular state.
Because they
but-
nominated you.
exactly.
Yeah.
But having a condition on your visa, you need to follow it accordingly, which is the federal government. And they said that if you are a holder of a 491 visa, then you can live in any of the designated area of Australia
Which is regional.
as a holder of a 491 visa.
Besides Melbourne,
Yeah,
Sydney
they-
and Brisbane.
Exactly. So
Which is
beside
not deemed
that,
as, yeah.
all the area which are designated regional area of Australia, you can relocate if you do not wish to continue living in Queensland. Yes.
yeah. So that answers your question. If you're running away from a typhoon or something else, then come to Perth. You gotta-
We have many questions. Do you wanna?
but we can stay here for about 2 hours, but we can't afford to do that, right?
No,
You know?
that's yeah.
we-
I mean, we can have 2 more questions,
Yeah.
and then we'll have to.
Right. There is Karishma who says her brother has completed Master of Professional Accounting from ECU a few years ago. He's sitting at 80 points. What visa can he apply for PR?
Okay, so first of all, as you said that you're talking about your brother, well, we need to know what is his current location. So if he's in Western Australia, I mean, as you said that he's graduated from Curtin University,
ECU, yeah.
then I mean, he's chasing his graduate occupation list.
Yeah.
So chances to be invited, what we have just discussed, I think you refer the Facebook Live, what we have just gone through. This is having a premium situation.
Yeah.
But if he's not in country, if he's offshore, then I'm very sorry,
then-
but
then
there's
it's
nothing
not.
much I can do.
So Karishma, you can tell that to your brother. Hey, you know what? We're in the mood. You're going to read one more question. Read that one more question, then we will tell you. We'll make an executive decision after that question. Go on.
Wow. Okay. So please explain about how to secure a Dharma job and nomination.
Okay.
Well, we both can take this question, but basically, Dharma is a fresh initiative, but I'll let my colleague Bomik answer that question.
All right. Okay. So see, Dharma.
Without going into detail, because it's
Yeah,
too
I mean,
crazy.
I'll be very straightforward here.
Yeah.
Dharma is not a normal employer-sponsored visa. It has been altered migration program to help the local employers in the regional area of either Southwest or Kalgoorlie, which is
in mining town.
and then another one is Pilbara region up north.
North.
So we are talking about WA. I'm not talking about any other state for now. So if you understand the migration plan of this particular region, then the occupations are having a different requirement than the normal one. So we have not got enough information from you in order to give you the exact idea that how you could secure it. But yes, I must say that this is one of the most streamlined pathway that department has created and announced to support the local employer and the employee.
We know a lot about Dharma, to be honest with you, not just because my name sounds like Dharma, as in Dharminder, but I want to say to you very, very seriously, you've got to pinpoint a particular occupation. You haven't even found an employer. We're going to match a lot of those things, and the process is not an instant thing like how we're talking about the 190 and 491. It involves.
But it's very streamlined though.
Yeah,
It's
involves
possible
a few steps.
if the things are following.
Exactly. So if you have something like that, oh my God, what's going to do? Email us with very detailed stuff, and then we'll let you know from that. Okay, I presume that was the last question, but I'm looking at 422. We are going to make a decision for 4:30. We're going to cut off.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got 8 minutes. So these 8 questions, or how many questions are we going to get within this last 8 minutes, is going to be fun. Okay.
Okay.
And the last question gets a free consultation from you. Sorry. No. Go on, carry on. Yeah.
So Vlog Society has a question that
Law Society.
Vlog.
Oh, vlogs. Okay, yeah, sorry.
So I'm doing Bachelor of Community Service in Melbourne. What's the PR chances in Victoria, or should I move to regional?
Well, see, if you're studying there in Victoria and if you can secure a job in your own field in Victoria, then I think that's the migration plan of Victoria says that if you are in Victoria, if your occupation is in demand in Victoria, and if you are working in your own nominated occupation and the field, then I think the chances to be invited in Victoria is also going to be a good one. Because as I said, that the migration program is not only going to be renewed in WA, it is going to be renewed in across Australia and all the states as well, right? So hang there. That's what I would say.
Exactly, seriously. And good thing that you managed to get a skills assessment as well, because that's a very tough occupation to actually get a skills assessment, by the way. Well done.
We have a question from Kumanan, who says, I have applied subclass 491 on August day before yesterday. The mail came from Dhamma that they have mentioned in the mail that to give some documents like PPC, purpose of statement.
Yeah.
And he does not know how to deal with it.
Fine. We will not know how to deal with it live right now too. Let us know specifically, because can you imagine something so important like that? They're asking us, and then he says, oh yeah, you should do X, Y, Z. And the guy's like, what is this guy talking about? So just remember that.
So yeah, so what he's trying to say is that, I mean, this is something very personal question you raise it, and we really want to help you, but I think you should forward your information to one of our email addresses, and then we'll take care of it.
Gladly, seriously, yeah.
We have a question which is about student visa.
Okay.
So Malik mentions that please tell why is there a delay of student visa?
Well, see, my friend, there are a number of reasons. Yeah, there are a number of reasons, and this session is not designed for the student visa, but I'll still address your question that you are not the only one who is struggling and waiting for the student visa to be done, but there are plenty of student visa holder who applied for the student visa extension. They all are waiting. So I would say that if it is reasonably beyond the processing time, then you have all the fair chances to drop an email to the department and just ask for an update. Or whoever is your consultant, you can request them to do the same thing for you.
So general time, there's no real general time.
There is a standard processing time which is about 69 days. But yeah, I mean, you can consider it accordingly.
If you've gone beyond that, if you're losing your marbles, give us more information.
This question is a bit addressed before, but Karma asked that, would you mind to share the PR pathways for MBA Global with major international marketing graduates?
Again, see, this is again a situation of your MBA with marketing, basically. And as I said, that marketing occupation, I mean, you need a skill assessment, and that is done by VETASYS, and you need 1 year of experience. And then only you can look for the options. So first of all, I would say that your information, what you've given is not good enough for us to give you any judgment here. But yes, you must consult one of our professionals nearest your area, and then one of our consultant will help you out.
And I think we did talk about marketing specialists and marketing personnel just then. So they just needed to understand that.
Yeah.
Let's rock on. We've got 4 more minutes.
So there's a question about, can you explain job duties for community worker?
We certainly can.
Yeah, why not?
Person has done diploma in community service from a non-accredited college and looking for skill assessment, currently working as a community worker.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Okay. This is, I mean,
people need to be,
exactly. This is a straightforward question. I think this is not complicated at all. As you are very much aware of it, that ECWA, which is your assessing body, they are very particular about the experience, what you have it. If your qualification is not accredited, and then the experience.
That's first point. If it's not accredited,
then you need an exactly. So if your qualification is accredited, then your placement should be good enough in order to get your assessment without experience. And if your qualification is not accredited, then your experience has to be according to the ENSCO guideline.
And that now we cannot tell you, because that's what they're asking. Oh, if you're a community worker, or are you goodness me, you're
a support worker,
and that duties and responsibilities only
that
comes
matters
out from that.
So title, what you just said is completely fine, no problem. But as I said, that we really have to understand all your duties. And we need to understand that whether they are meeting complete requirement of ECWA, because ECWA does not negotiate on this part. So we have seen failure. Yes, we have seen failures across the town, and yes, people are struggling. So before you do it, you make sure that do
Please,
it
that's
properly.
that's the best investment you can do is actually consult someone to say,
professional.
hang on, this is
and
what
then
I've
do
done.
it.
Sorry, we're
Yeah.
both talking about each other, but
No, this is fine,
we've
yes.
had this thing, because when you said earlier on about, oh, someone's got a skills assessment, what do we do? And we're like,
I think, yeah, next live,
Yeah.
I think we
We
will
will talk
possibly
about
do it
Aqua.
about Aqua, because I mean, we've got client who are requesting for this information. So we'll do it.
We'll
Yeah.
definitely talk about that.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Cool.
Next we have, can we accept 190 while waiting for 491 grand?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely you can.
Absolutely.
150% you
Yeah.
can. It's
Like-
just that you need to understand that you cannot, I mean, you cannot expect the government to invite you
Yeah,
twice in the same financial year from the skill select.
exactly.
Do not get confused between the state nomination invitation
Yeah.
and the skill select, guys. Okay, I have been very specific about it.
Hmm.
I said you cannot expect to be invited
Within-
from the department from the skill select twice in the first financial year. Okay.
When people doesn't seem to understand that. So if you're driving a Hyundai and if you're going to drive an Audi, yes, you can. Okay, so you can actually make the transition.
Yes, you
No
can.
problems.
Yes, you can.
Next, we have a question from Gagan Singh, who says medical laboratory technician with 10 years experience and PT 57. Can they apply for PR?
Well, see, first of all, my friend,
Yeah,
as you said that medical laboratory technician, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not scientists. Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, you will have to get your skill assessment done from Australian Institute of Medical Scientists, AIMS. And once your skill assessment is done, then you will have to look for the points, because you said that you have got 10 years of experience. Well, I assume that you have got all the proper documentation, but again, we have to understand the quality of the documents and the points and every other aspect of your profile. And then we can suggest that if you stand with a good solid chance or not.
Awesome. Wow. 4:30. So let's see.
Yes,
We got another
so-
one more question or what? Okay. Do you should we gotta cut sometime.
Yes,
You know,
we
today. Otherwise, then we might have some
So,
lag.
no,
Nah,
it won't
we
happen.
won't
It
have
won't
that,
happen. But yes, we are in a situation where
Well, we just-
I mean, we have already done 1.5 hours here, guys, and obviously these questions are not stopping.
And you
So
know
we
what?
can definitely address every one of you, but as I said that you guys have to be more specific when you're asking it. So
And
now-
perhaps this is also thing to just add very quickly. Sorry, Mommy.
Yeah.
Is to say that the questions are coming brilliant, by the way. Thank you for all the questions, first and foremost, right? So if your question for whatever reason hasn't been answered or partly answered, or if you have a question over a question, email us. Those are the details that you can get. Things happen, we finish sharing with you whatever information. You're going to get another question. Hey, put that down in an email.
Yeah.
That is exactly what you need to do. Get in touch with us.
Yeah.
And correspondingly, we will definitely come back to you, in the specified period of time, and we should be fine. So we are happy to take one question.
but
One-
yes,
one
okay,
last
okay,
question.
let's do it,
I
and
think
then
we'll
I'll
give this
just
a
make a
final-
conclusion.
Yeah, this is the final. So
Um,
people understand that it's a final question.
yeah.
Yeah. So
So Casey Madan asked that I'm working as biomedical engineer in Victoria for last 1 year as casual. Can I apply for 190 in WA? Also, do I need all 52 weeks, 20 hours to claim 5 points for work experience?
Yes, that is very much important. So the requirement to claim the experience points, 5 points for the experience.
20 years.
The requirement is that you need minimum 20 hours a week for 1 full year. And if you have that, you can claim it. If you do not have it, you cannot claim it.
Okay, okay.
And the other one is that he said
Should
that
he move
he
here?
shared-
Yeah.
yeah. Well, see, it's simple.
Hmm.
The person, as I gave example this before as well, that the person who is standing with less point than you and chasing the general occupation list, but currently residing in Western Australia, he'll be the priority, not you. And if that is not the case, and both of you are in residing in another state and chasing the the general occupation list, then I think the person who's standing with high points have more chances. Simple.
Now, on that penultimate question, thank you very much for all our captive audience who listened. Thank you, Janvi, also for preparing all this at the same time. And of course,
Yeah.
Bombing and I, thank you very much for tuning in. This is definitely not going to be the first and last session. We got a lot of topics lined up. We did choose this. Why? Because this was the end of the financial year. We wanted to specifically address the state nomination criteria and things like that. Without further ado, maybe you want to add
But
something
yes,
else?
I just want to make one small recommendation to all of you that If you are waiting your invitation to happen, and if you are not sure about your further plan, then I must say that you should consult the professionals for a W state nomination migration plan I'm talking about, and have clear information about this, that how this is going to be going in forward.
Yeah.
And then make a clear and wise decision. And if you are still confused and not sure, then come and talk to us, we'll help you out.
Okay.
But you should have a design plan before you make any decision.
Absolutely. You don't build a house just like that. You bring in a designer and a consultant. That's what we're going to do. We build a house, we create your dreams, and you live happily ever after. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. We
so
hope
this is
you've
the time we
enjoyed
press
this.
some
Thank you.
buttons down here to say end. Right?
Yeah.
Brilliant.